It appears we may have yet again another altcoin chart that perhaps might be on the loose, and the suspect this time, Avalanche. With that said, welcome back to EllioTrades channel. I'm your host Krown today with some good old Stevie Wonder analysis as we get prepared for another chart that, or at least of another altcoin that looks pretty damn good actually. Anyways, the topic for this video was generated off of yesterday's comment section. So I actually went through and just saw, who wanted to see what, and you are more than welcome to do the same again today. So please do leave us a comment in the comment section below as to what you want to see, whether it be a topic, a coin, whatever. We are very open-minded here. So with that in mind, let's get into the first and most important thing to be aware of on good old AVAX. And what is that? It's my favorite thing. If you've been watching any of these videos, you already know. And what is it? It is, of course, higher lows, of which we have 1, 2, count them 3 higher lows in this lovely consolidation range right here. And that is really going to set up the next portion of this analysis, of which higher lows coming in within the context of a consolidation does imply that this is going to be a more bullishly resolved consolidation rather than bearishly resolved consolidation. In fact, you might even go ahead and call it a reaccumulation in this case, which would be confirmed. And this is a validation of the analysis for another medium-term move to the upside above, specifically, in this case, actually not this top end trend line right here, but this baby right here, 73.25. Specifically, would like to see a daily close above there. And then yes, let this AVAX loose. And where is it going to end up? Well, that's going to be the next portion of this video. All right, so now with that in mind, we have several things to be aware of here, of course. Go to the 12-hour, and what I've marked off with the not horizontal. Again, I am American, so my education not great. These are vertical, if I recall properly. And what I've done is I've marked off all of the areas where we do see very low volatility on the 12-hour, and I believe the daily as well. Yeah, on the daily as well, although the 12-hour is just a little bit more well documented here. Now, and to be clear, I've also only marked off the areas that were resolved to the upside. So you can see this last one coming in from the bear trap of late July from the actual signal given, which is actually more right around here, if I can do this properly. The gains for the next 22 days was about 362.88%. Now, it didn't stop there. There was a bit of a short-term reversal, to be fair, so I do want to be intellectually honest with that. But it did go on for about a 500% gainer over time after that. So let's just keep these numbers in the back of our minds, and let's go to the past one before that, of which this one started off way on over here on the December 2020 lows. And 400% up in the next 20 and a half days, actually, somewhat similar to what we just saw on the first leg for that August move. And then, a bit of a short-term reversal plus long-term continuation for a number that I don't think I should necessarily repeat. It's rather large. You can see it on the screen. Anyways, let's take this one step further and let's go right on over here. And let's match this up with the 5-day RSI. So the 5-day RSI has 3 particular instances where it has done something very, very incredible, as denoted by these vertical lines yet again. Now, with the 5-day RSI getting into the bullish control zone, which is actually right, that's right here, I guess. And in this one right here, both those same times are actually, no, not the same times. This first one coming in from January 2021, so 1 month after what we just looked at on the BBWP. And then, of course, this one over here in middle of August of 2021, so a little bit, again, after that volatility signal. Well, these ones, after it gets into the bullish control zone, runs 335% right there, and 800% right there. So we are dealing with some rather impressive numbers. And what do you know? Why is this relevant? Well, we are once again, to play out that Bernie meme, we are once again in the bullish control zone right here. And it will have its first chance to really confirm in there on multiple closures in the next 4 days, 4 days and 11 hours to be exact. And for what it's worth, this looks pretty good. All right, moving on. Let's speak about daily momentum. So let's match all this up, right? So we've been looking at trend, we've been looking at volatility. Now let's look at another momentum oscillator on specifically the daily. And what do we have right here? We have the daily stochastic, just representing momentum here, which is going to cross the upside above about 65 and 19 or so cents at the end of the closing today at, I believe, 8 p.m. Eastern time. Not only would it be doing that, but it would be holding within what's called the bullish control zone, similar to the RSI, just different indicator over here. And this is coming alongside of volatility being on the floor. So volatility being a mean reverting indicator does mean that it is essentially designed to expand. And if it is designed to expand alongside momentum, then we do look for this to produce an upside movement. It just helps the probabilities that we do see this resolve to the upside. So now let's talk about the fun stuff, what everyone loves, targets, of course. Everyone loves their targets. I love my targets, you love your targets, and we all love our targets. Let's get on over here. So we have a couple things going on. Now, just on a naked chart, we do see the topside Bollinger Band, which again is a volatility-based indicator, does show a bit of continuation resistance at around just above 88 bucks. Okay, that would be relevant on a short-term break of the conditions that we overlaid over here with a daily closure above again, close at about 73 and a quarter. However, do I think that things would stop there? Well, putting two and two together based off the volatility reads and also the 5-day RSI, well, that would be very unlikely because from bottom to top right now, that would only be ridiculous. That would be a 58% gain or so. So, is that relevant? It would not be historically relevant. Again, going back on over here, what were these iterations showing us, even on the first legs? I believe it was, about 300 to 400% more like. About 350 on this one, and the other one was 400 from what I remember. Both of them around 20 to 22 days for that first leg. Well, if we go back on over here, what would that essentially be on price action? Well, let's just do it, I guess. All right, what do we have here? 300% puts you at what? 224 essentially. 350 puts you at about 250, and 400 puts you about 276. Now, keep in mind, none of those two prior iterations on both the 5-day RSI or the 12-hour BBWP, sorry, searching for my words there, apologies, actually stopped there. They actually both took more legs to the upside, to be fair. But let's see if that matches up with anything from a Fibonacci extension perspective, as again, when we get into all-time high territory, I like to use Fib extensions to kind of, judge bought and algo targets, as they're typically going to be the ones who are, managing price action at those ranges. And what do you know? Well, if you recall, again, about, 260% puts you at 200. 326, which is kind of relevant to the gains that we saw, puts you at the 245 region, and 436, which would be a little bit more on the upside end, puts you at about 320. So when talking about this, how far out are we looking for? Because we did sort of come up with a bit of an interpretation of the volatility versus days to resolution, which was about 3 to 4 weeks. And now those were just for the first legs. The next leg took another few weeks, it looks like. So I do believe if this is going to hold true, earliest we'd see it maybe within 3 weeks. Now, I do suspect that is going to take longer over time. And timing is not something that I feel too compelled by. Even referencing yesterday's video, I don't think that you can specifically call out a time and correlate a price to that very well. At least I don't see it being able to be done very well. But looking at volatility metrics, we can get an idea of what is relevant. So I'd say anywhere between about 3, maybe 5 weeks, if you are going to look at it from those lenses. I'd feel a lot more comfortable just calling out general targets, however, on a break specifically of 87.5. That is when these next major ones become actionable. And there very likely will be a short-term stop along the way at about $143.5. Although I don't believe it'll be more than just a stop, I do believe that it will be, continuation overall. And very likely do find potential major highs within this region over here, somewhere between about 200 and 320. If I had to guess, it's probably somewhere between about 250 and 280, let's say. That does seem to be on average. Now, again, those have actually not been the major highs from those moves. What have been? Well, should I go back on over here and do this? All right, we'll do it. We'll do it, my friends. We'll do it. Here's for the clickbait. Here's for the clickbait. That's 500% right there. Okay, that's already crazy enough, and that's 1800% right there. All right, 500% is already crazy enough. We'll just do that one. How about that? All right, where does 500% put us? Actually, 500% puts us a little bit above that 320 marker, which is perhaps relevant. 1800, I don't think that that's too relevant, but I'm just curious what it'd look like if we got up here. That would be about 1200. 1800 does put you at the 3 spot 618. I think that would be maximum high for this cycle of that. Look, it's trading at 66 bucks right now. I think it's kind of asking for a lot to get there. But first, first things first, right? First major actionable thing that we spoke about, and we'll go over in validation soon, is above, of course, 73 and a quarter. That's what makes the next short-term continuation target available, which is up at about 87.38. If we start to see daily and specifically weekly closures above that region, that's at the point where I do look for the next major legs up into these $200 numbers, maybe even $300 numbers. And that's where I would be expecting major consolidations. And then let's say that AVAX does start to really clear and close weeklies, no less than a weekly in this case, above 320, because this is a macro move here after all. Then at that point, yes, we can entertain the moon boy targets, but understand for right now, they are just that, moon boy targets. And I want to be very deliberately clear with that because, there's always going to be a divide between YouTube titles and thumbnails and the actual content. And everyone knows the game, right? You have to have a good YouTube title and thumbnail to get people interested. And then you give them, or at least the way that we like to do it here is we like to give them, hard and raw data. And of course, at the end of the day, you are a free and responsible adult ready to make your own decisions. Okay, so let's talk about invalidation. No trade setup is complete without a potential invalidation. Where does it lose its short-term bullishness? This one's very simple, below 58 and a quarter. However, I would not say that destroys the macro setup here. The macro setup is destroyed, and this is no longer being looked at with bullish goggles, which perhaps I have on right now. If it does start to close below 51.35, 51 and a half, it looks like. Yeah, 51 and a half right there. If that does happen, I'd be looking for great pullbacks first, maybe even a major top right here, with major targets down to the low 30s and perhaps more over time. But again, I'm not biased towards that right now. This is looking more or less fine. And I do suspect that AVAX will very likely join the rest of the market. Again, validation of the short-term setup above 73 and a quarter. The long-term setup is validated above. Again, that would be about 88 bucks, let's call it, or 87 and a half. So with that said, I'm gonna be signing off here. I want to wish you well. I want to say another major thank you for, just for just for all the support on this channel. It's been amazing. I should also notify you that my own channel's name has changed. So I think a lot of people got confused with that, but all good. It's just Krown Crypto. It's just more personal. And cool. With that said, take care, and I'll see you in the next one.